Good morning and welcome. Patriot Radio News Hour. Joe and Jason on this Tuesday. I had to think about it for a minute. What day is it, right? It's welcome to Tuesday. Man, we got a lot of things again to talk about. The silver and gold markets are on everybody's mind. We're going to have my good buddy, JR, is going to be with us today, of course, from Another Money Show. If you guys are looking for somebody that actually knows what's going on as a financial planner, JR is your guy. I know a lot of you love when he comes on. He brings a lot of great things. So today he said, hey, Joe, what do you want me to talk about? Where do you want to go? I'll go where you go. I said, no, you take us where you've been looking. Give us a different perspective on things. But before we get to him, we have a rebound, not surprised, in the gold and silver markets. Right now, as an example, silver, $76, up $4. Here's what I'm going to tell everybody, okay? Buy and don't buy at your own risk. Everything is going out of stock. 1 ounce rounds, I have a very limited amount. 1 ounce bars, there are none. 5 ounce bars, there are none. I will take orders for 5 ounce bars under the pretext of, I'll call you when they come in, and that could be a month. Don't know. Don't have them. 10 ounce bars, nope. 100 ounce bars, how about those? They're always in stock. No, Basically, the sheets read like everything's out of stock. I have some Silver Eagles, and I mean some. Delivery in 6 weeks. Not anything less than that. Now, we've been doing this for 30 years. Don't know who's going to call me tomorrow. Who may call me today. But I will tell you this. There is no silver out there from the wholesale. If I get it, it's going to be from my customers. The only thing that I can book are 2026s. Delivery time February. The price, well, it is what it is. Get it while you can. For those of you that are looking at, man, I bought a lot of silver. Man, I bought it at $4, $5, $10, $20, $30, $40. I am buying rolls of U.S. Silver Eagles, and listen, they got to be in good shape. And little rim toning, nobody cares. That's fine. But they got to, it can't be all beat up. I'm paying $75 a coin. $75 a coin. That's $1,500 for a roll of U.S. Silver Eagles, and I'm buying them. I will tell you right now, a lot of coin stores, they just didn't even open. They're not open. It's not, you know what? They're using this. They don't want to risk it. I think in Colorado, we called around one store's open. I think they're $15 under spot is what they'll pay. There was a local coin stop here in Phoenix, was paying $45. One of the largest bullion banks in the West Coast. I called them yesterday. Hey, what are you doing with silver? He goes, I'm out. I'm not in. Not doing it. Don't have any. It's too expensive. Can't get it. It takes too long. Florida. Called them. Guess what they said? Same thing. Yeah. I'm probably, what's funny is a lot of these dealers are going to be out of stock. But this is it. If you want to buy, great. I have some utility silver, junk silver. Boy, man, what a turnaround that has come. Everything else, though, is pretty much going to be gone. I don't know how long. I can make a call today, my next call. So I've got one place right now that's still offering for me to be able to book Silver Eagles. Yesterday alone, just Patriot, just us, 16 cases of Silver Eagles sold yesterday. I asked, and I said, hey, how much longer do we have? You know what they said? Don't know. His exact answer was, I haven't bought a single thing today. Everybody is calling to buy. So there you go. We are buying Silver Eagles. $75 a coin. That's $75 an ounce. That's $1,500 a roll. If you want to buy silver, I suggest you buy it quickly, because I got a bad feeling there may not be anything for a while. We're going back to that. That was COVID the last time that happened. We'll be back with JR when we return. 800-951-0592. Before we get to JR, quick look at the markets. The Dow is down 80. The S&P is unchanged. The Nasdaq's up 15. The 10-year note is higher today, 413. Crude oil is a little higher, still 20 cents, 58.27. Gold's up 35. Silver, depending on where you look, it's up $4 to $5 to the ounce this morning. And again, like I said, this may be it for a while. If you're looking to get into silver, you need to call. We'll tell you what we got. You lock it in, and we'll get it to you as quickly as possible. If you want to sell U.S. Silver Eagles, paying more than anybody in town, anybody around, $75 per coin, $1,500 per roll at 800-951-0592. But, JR, we haven't had you for a few weeks. I hope you had a great Christmas. Obviously, we're getting ready for New Year's. A lot of people, I don't know, you know what I'm wondering? A lot of people probably glad that 2025 is over, but my guess is most people pretty unsure about 2026.
Well, there's reason to be. And first of all, thanks for having me on. I miss you guys, and I want to come on every week like Joey did. I want to be your in-house guy. So, all right, let me start. When I asked you what you want me to cover, and you said run with it, I can tell you where we need to be. When you look at silver, when you look at gold, I mean, you're having a shortage here in Phoenix. Correct me if I'm wrong, but there's a global shortage. Now, add what I watch, geopolitics. I mean, you know, we met with Netanyahu. He was at Mar-a-Lago this week. Met with, what's his name over in Ukraine? I don't even remember their names. Zelensky. We've got the live exercises all around China. I'm sorry, all around Taiwan. We're getting ready to bomb Iran again. That's back on the table. You know, we still have the Hamas-Israel situation. We bombed today on the, 30th of December, we bombed another drug boat by Venezuela. So precious metals go up when there's uncertainty, if I'm not wrong. Precious metals go up when there's scarcity, if I'm not wrong.
You forgot Nigeria,
I mean, every single thing is on the table.
You forgot Nigeria.
Oh, that's right. That's right. We've got ISIS in Nigeria. We're striking them. It's the entire world. And I want to stay here. I mean, I want to live peacefully in Minnesota and open up a daycare, but I have to be all around the world right now.
Yeah, it's really, really crazy. I do want to point this out. So, starting January 1st, this is now confirmed, China is announcing new restrictions on silver imports. They are going to the, what do they call those metals? The rare earth metals, right? You need to obtain a license from the Ministry of Commerce in China, and then they will let you know how much silver they will export to you, if any. So here's the problem. Let's just, as JR is talking about, hey, uncertainty, when you have uncertainty, when you have a situation where like, it just seems like the war drums continue to beat, right? Trump, I'm going to bomb the hell out of Iran again, right? That came back up again. I'll just say that you always have demand for metals during that time. On top of it, right, the dollar having, let's face it, 2025, one of the worst years for the dollar in recent memory, debasement of the currency. We have a global, as JR has pointed out, a global supply issue with silver. And this is something, listen, Jason and I have been telling you this and telling you, did it take too long? Yes. Since silver had been $28 January 1st, 2025, no. But guess what? Here we are. Right now it's $76, and everybody out there, I'm sitting there talking about $100. I'm like the conservative guy in the room, right? You have most of these guys out there talking about $200 and $300 silver. China, let's face it, what was it, a year, maybe 2 years ago, Jason, they told the refineries in Latin America, the miners in Latin America, hey, don't even bother refining it.
Yep.
Just send us the concentrate.
Yep.
Well, guess what? The United States has now done the same. To the point, unfortunately, where our refiners here in the U.S., they are running at max capacity, and they literally can't produce enough. And they have told all of the vendors that are now telling the Latin America, because let's face it, most silver, that's where it comes. China has silver. But it's really outside of China, it's Mexico and Peru. And the thing is most of the refining capacity in the world is sitting in China. And the problem is, China's like, we're not going to send it to you. Because everyone looks at the numbers, they know, hey, wait a minute. You're importing millions of metric tons of this stuff, but you're not exporting it. We need it. The problem is we can't refine it. Even if we can get it from the miners in Latin America, we don't have the refining capabilities in America anymore. And why? Well, it's dirty. It's dirty. It's not great for the environment, blah, blah, blah. And, well, let's face it, the Chinese will do it for less. And starting on the 1st, 2 days from now, China's going to make it even more difficult, JR, for silver, for companies that need to get it.
Yeah, that's not good. So, and when you say 100 an ounce, I mean, where does that stop? I just learned from you, I guess it was yesterday, that there's an ounce of silver in every Tesla. We need it for solar. We need it for EVs. We need it for the data centers. I mean, the supply and demand is way off, and simple economics say that that's not going to go. It's not going to end well. I have a question for you. May I switch gears on this for a second from supply and demand?
Please. Yeah.
So last Friday, like everybody else, I was watching on my phone. I mean, I was watching what happened, the huge run up. And then over the weekend, I heard on Sunday there was a little run down. And then obviously, like today, things are going okay. Yesterday was tough. So I have a question. You brought up, I believe also yesterday, that there might have been some bank shenanigans with the reverse repo market. I read something, and I don't have a source to quote. I found this on Facebook, which, I get all my news on Facebook. I actually like Facebook. I think it's a good barometer of people, like mainstream people. But I read this. It was on a page called the Libertarian Party, and I want to run it by you because it ties in with something that I've been worried about for 20 years. So, too big to fail. Taxpayers bailing out malfeasance for the big bankers. As this story is written, it is 11:01 a.m. Eastern U.S. time on Sunday, December 28th. Reports have been coming in claiming a systematically important bank, a major player in silver futures, failed to pay its margin call by 2 a.m. and was liquidated by the futures exchange at 2:47 a.m. Eastern U.S. time. The reports are concealing the name of the bank, but it is confirmed that overnight the Federal Reserve was forced to pump another $34 billion into the banking system through its emergency overnight repo facility. This $34 billion is on top of the $17 billion, which had to be pumped in 2 days ago on Friday morning. Am I missing something, or should we tie the silver market with the insolvency of the banks also?
Yeah, and it's interesting. We talked a little bit about that yesterday. What makes it odd is the timing. We know, and of course, as we've talked about, when banks have to use the repo facility, that is bad, right? Reverse repo facility, good. Repo facility, bad. So there is no money in the reverse repo facility, which means the banks don't have extra liquidity. The problem that arose over the weekend, obviously a major bank, because we're looking just at dollars. So a $17 billion jump in a single day, on a day which normally, that's surprising to see. But then for it to be hit again, essentially, let's call it Sunday night, Monday morning, for another $34 billion. So if you add those two together, you're talking about either one bank, or was it multiple banks needing a total of $50 billion plus dollars, and no other bank would lend it to them. And you got to remember, these would be banks, especially with these amounts, they have U.S. Treasuries that hey, let me give you some U.S. Treasuries, you charge me a fee, and lend me $50 billion. And, if I don't pay you, you got $50 billion of Treasuries. How great is that? And the banks said, no thank you, which tells me that this is something much bigger. And, of course, tomorrow, we expect that repo facility to go huge because it's the end of the month. And, of course, we know what happens on the first of the month. The mortgage payments got to come out, the health care payments, the car payments, right? A lot of payments coming out. This is something where the timing of it is not good. This just shows the stress that is in the banking market. And we've been waiting for this to play out, haven't we? Because we know the auctions, the U.S. debt market auctions, have not been great. The last few weeks, especially, foreign participation has disappeared. Yesterday I told you, listen, you know that 20 years ago, which isn't that long ago, foreign governments held 40% of the U.S. debt. They had 40% of all the treasuries. It's down to 14%. And they're kicking even at that. Jason, they don't even want the 14% they got.
Yeah. It's just looking at what's gone on and just over since Joe and I just tried to take some time off for the holidays. That's all it was supposed to be. And then you see how much can happen in just a little bit of time. I didn't get to jump in when on your first segment, Joe, and you're talking about all the dealers, how they're just out. They're not dealing with it. And I'm wondering how many sellers got hurt really bad between Friday and Monday, right, Joe? Somebody decided to lean into this price going up, and then on Monday we'll go ahead, and then suddenly they got smashed on Monday because they lost all that, and you can't. A lot of the market's going to freeze in place. A lot of people are going to not know what to do and get hurt by everything that we're talking about. It's a sad state of affairs. It's not boring, is it, Joe? It's not boring, but things are getting really, really crazy, really, really fast.
I mean, it's the 30th of December, and I'm like, oh my gosh, right. Look at how things are happening. 800-951-0592, U.S. Silver Eagles. They're $1,835 a roll. I just got informed. We got 5 cases. That's it. So hopefully somebody will sell them. I'm buying at $75. If you guys are interested in selling, if you want to buy U.S. Silver Eagles, today may be your last chance to do so. For I don't know. You just don't know, right? We'll figure it out later. Rolls of dimes back to $300, quarters $600, half dollars at $6.05, $5 silver bars. Don't buy them because I don't know when I'm going to get them. I'll take it if you want, but how about silver rounds? Those I have some at least available. Boy, they got pricey too. Where are they? Yeah, $17.05. If you want 20 silver rounds at 800-951-0592. We will get Fed minutes tomorrow, JR. You know, they like to make a big deal about this. I'm sure that the minutes are going to be split, and you're going to get a lot of talk about waiting to see. We got to look at the data. There'll be a lot of people, I think, will say they're less worried about inflation, more worried about the jobs market. And I just wish people would understand the Federal Reserve doesn't give two craps about us. That's why they rig the inflation data, right? They make it appear less than what it is on purpose. They openly talk about, now this nonsense of 2% inflation. When was the last time it was 2%? I don't even know. How many years ago was that? Which simply means, hey, we want you to have 2% less buying power. And, of course, when they say 2%, that usually means 4 or 5% for us. And, of course, now we know inflation's 3 or 4%, with probably 6 to 8%. But, JR, people still think the Fed can save everybody.
Yeah, okay. Well, I'm not one of them. No offense, Fed, but I'm not one of them. And I'll tell you what, talking about no inflation, do you realize, well, you probably do, but most people listening probably don't realize this, 3 times in the last 2 decades, so 3 out of 20 years, they did no cost of living adjustment upwards on people's Social Security. Working in Sun City, I thought there would be a lot of uproar to that. Nothing. I had a couple of questions from a couple different clients. It's amazing. Yeah, 2% inflation. Okay. I don't know. And, they're going to lower interest rates again in January, right? Just so the rates go up. They're not very effective. And I'll tell you what, being a finance advisor in this world right now, if I don't trust stocks, bonds, or banks, what exactly am I supposed to do? Maybe Bank of America has my answer. You realize they're starting to tell people cryptocurrency needs to be a part of their portfolio. They're actually coming out and saying that to their clients. So I don't know. I still think that we're going to have some changes coming. I still think that people need to pay down debt, buy hard assets. If you've been listening to Joe and Jason and you've been buying gold and silver over the years, you're sitting okay. I mean, what if you have a 21-year-old still living at home, and one day, since they'll never be able to afford a house on their own, you want to help them get a house. If you have gold and silver, it's worth something. Over the years, I've heard Jason talking about, buying a cow with a piece of gold. It's, I don't know. I mean, this is the most uncharted territory we've ever been in. And I'm a little bit concerned with how it's going to play out. I think the government's hand is they're just waiting to push the reset. We have all these wars coming on. We've got all the confusion in our country on multiple different fronts. So it's going to change. Will it be 2026? I don't know. I don't have a crystal ball, but I wouldn't be surprised a hair.
Yeah, and when you think about preparing now, it's funny because we've talked about this for a long time. When I first started, heck, we were still talking about an Amero back then. Remember the Amero, right? And then I was like, wait a minute, that's not big enough, right? That can't do it. And of course, we have the financial crisis. They literally destroyed fiat money during the financial crisis and lied about it and covered it up. Went to the courts. The law says, Freedom of Information Act, that after 2 years, the Federal Reserve needed to tell us what they really did. Well, they went to the Supreme Court and told the court, hey guys, we can't do that. Well, why not? Why can't you tell them? Well, because if they really knew what we had to do, it would cripple fiat money. And the court said, okay, well, if you say so, here's another 10-year ban. And of course, as soon as we can find out the information, isn't it shocking? Oh, there's this thing called COVID. So nobody cares. Everyone's got to wear a mask. Stand 6 feet away from each other. Don't go to work. Oh, by the way, we destroyed the value of your money. We just didn't tell you about it. And then, of course, use COVID as another way to destroy the money. And now today, is it great that the stock market's 48,000? I guess. Yeah, that's awesome. But look at
about
what
the stock market.
Look at what gold and
the
silver
Dow
have done
Jones,
so
the ones
much
that only
more.
has 30 companies.
Yeah, the one that only. That's right. If you're fortunate enough to have the right handful of companies, it's very interesting. And JR, you know this better than most. Most people in their 401ks, they don't really get to choose, right? They can, I'm in an aggressive fund, not aggressive fund, right? They don't get to cherry pick the stocks that come out, and so they always never end up performing as well as, I guess, the hand-picked ones.
Right. Well, and as long as you're okay with BlackRock, Blackstone, Vanguard, you'll be fine. I mean, we don't own our 401ks. And you know what? You do what you do for a living at your job. You're not a financial money manager. If somebody tells you when you get there, just put all your money in the 2030 target date fund. And then 25 years later, you've never reallocated it, never rebalanced it. You're at the mercy of those people.
Yep. If you want some independence, you got to prepare for it and buy it. And that's gold and silver. 800-951-0592. Patriot Radio News Hour. Joe and Jason along with our buddy JR. We'll be back after the break. 800-951-0592. That is our toll-free number. Just a lot of different information coming out. People wanting to know, hey, what's coming next in the gold and silver markets? We had the big, I guess, correction, if you will. People want to know, like, the gold and silver ratio. Where does it settle as prices trend higher in all commodities? Listen, it's a great question. I really think we're going to see that gold to silver ratio close well below 50. Is it going to be 40, 30? Some people are saying 15 to 1. That remains to be seen. But the day, think about it, man. It was up to like 120, which was just ridiculous. But this is something where I expect that gold to silver ratio to be much lower than what it currently is. So be ready for that. Silver.
There's only a couple of ways for that to happen, too.
Yeah.
Gold sells off, silver goes crazy up, or silver just outperforms gold as they both go up. Those are the only three ways that ratio gets closer.
Yeah, and it's going to be the last one. That's what it's going to be. Société Générale, SocGen, the biggest bank in France. Wow. Don't call silver a bubble. Don't worry about the sell-off. They say that when looking at silver, they said, well, there was a near vertical move last week, kind of natural for it to pull back. This is not a bubble. The analysts at SocGen saying that looking ahead, they say the silver market is going to see further liquidity issues, particularly starting January 1st as China restricts silver. By the way, as I told you, China supplies about 70% of all the refined silver globally. And there's no way to change that, at least in the near term. You can't change it. You're not going to be able to change it. They're talking about, this is SocGen saying that China may reduce exports by 30%. I hope that does not happen. That would be extremely, extremely bad. I mean, be great for silver, right? Don't get me wrong. But that would be a bad thing. In the industry, ready for this? This is absolutely crazy. 232 critical section analysis. It is hard to imagine that the U.S. government may have to impose tariffs on silver, particularly 1,000-ounce silver bars. If that would happen, the over-the-counter tightness would intensify dramatically as outbound shipments from the U.S. would effectively halt. The markets right now have a shortage of 1,000-ounce bars, including China, London, India. All of the premiums across the market are going to rise in all physical markets. But this is a new twist. SocGen saying that China may restrict 30% of its exports. Would that force the hand of the United States? Would the United States essentially then ban the COMEX from sending out 1,000-ounce bars across the world? I don't know. It's an interesting picture. You can see why there's people out there that are saying, Joe, you're so out of touch. $100, you're kidding yourself. This thing is going to be much bigger than that. These are some of the things that could happen. And, of course, if that did happen, would war drums start beating with China? Because that's how important silver is.
Well, I know JR is going to jump in too, but they're starting to say the blockade with Venezuela is economic warfare. The whole thing about Venezuela now is becoming clear that it's economic warfare with trading partners, and because America needs that oil price up, and it seems like everybody else is liking the cheaper oil, especially China, which is trying to grow themselves into a better position. So, JR, that kind of leans back into the geopolitics you had started on earlier.
Yeah, and I'm watching Cuba right now. I mean, there's going to be collateral damage to what's going on with Venezuela. I understand we have one of their tankers in Texas, So hopefully we're going to use some of that oil and fill the strategic oil reserve. But yeah, no, I mean, everything, the cause and effect is going to be huge.
You know what? I'll tell you what I think is going to happen, Jerry. I haven't had a chance to say this on the air. Do you know what I think the ultimate situation with Venezuela and America is going to end up being? Trump is going to be forced to have to buy oil from Venezuela. That's going to be the end of this thing.
Right.
I don't know how long it takes, but Biden already saw, as dumb as I want to say Biden is, and I don't think Biden made this decision, but the Biden administration was buying oil from Venezuela because they were seeing things that weren't going to go the right way. Okay? Trump came in and he wants to try it a different way. He wants a better deal. But in the end, Venezuela cannot be occupied. I don't think there's any situation, unless it's World War III, where we occupy Venezuela, which means a deal has to be struck. JR, we're going to see some wacky things.
I think we're going to occupy. I think we're slowly starting to occupy.
50,000 to 100,000 guys? You really think that America is ready for 50 to 100,000 troops in Venezuela?
No, that won't stop us, though.
Well, and China's doing their little war games blockade of Taiwan now, right? Yeah. Well,
I don't know if rainbow soldiers are going to want to fight in Venezuela. Don't we have a bunch of rainbow soldiers now? I don't think it's the same fighting force we used to have.
800-951-0592. Something else just to think about as we wrap up the show today. Are we going to see a situation where the mints are not allowed to buy silver because of the policies going to effect in China? If China is going to restrict, I don't even care if they restrict 10%, 20%, 30%, help us all. We could be in a situation where the price of silver is going to run and not be able to sell any because there is none, right? If the mints can't order, right? Because you got to remember, how do the mints order? 1,000-ounce silver bars. That's how they order. It's an interesting dilemma. So I know, listen, it is what it is. Today's your opportunity. I have no idea. You want to sell $75. You want to buy Silver Eagles, $1,835 a roll at 800-951-0592. If you want to get in touch with our buddy JR and talk about your finances, JR, how do they do that? How do they find you? You got a radio show as well.
Yes, sir. Yes, we're on AM 960, The Patriot, every Saturday at 5 in the morning and noon. We have a YouTube channel. We've got podcasts wherever you listen to those. You can always call us, 623-523-0444, or email us at team@anothermoneyshow.com.
There you have it, team@anothermoneyshow.com. Always great having you, JR. I know, Happy New Year to you and your family, and we'll have you on again here in the next week or so.
I would love that. Thank you so much. Yeah, I hope you guys are safe, happy, healthy, and we'll do it again in 2026.
Amen to that. Thank you, JR. And again, our number here, 800-951-0592. It's getting a little bit more, I guess, I don't know if dangerous is the right word, but it feels dangerous. If Societe Generale SocGen is right, then China is going to squeeze 30% of the 1,000-ounce silver bars that they normally would ship out. Jason, this is going to be a significant issue. You saw Elon Musk over the weekend talk about it and saying, "Hey, this is a problem," and it looks like, at least from what we're seeing now, that I thought. I'll be honest. I thought China was kind of bluffing on this thing. It doesn't appear to be.
Let's just see what happens. Let's just see what happens. There's a lot of posturing. Yeah, there's things blowing up. A lot of the blowing up since Trump took office is a lot of posturing. We'll see if anything real actually comes out of this. There is a blockade. There is some. They want some more. Trump is going to say this out loud. He wants higher oil prices. He wants higher oil prices. You can't have your inflative improving economy if you don't have oil in the $70 range. So that's got to be the main reason that they're stopping the heavy crude to go to China so that they can have all their trucks driving around and doing business and improving their economy because, hey, it's too cheap right now. Venezuela's shipping it out. It's cheap. Blockade it. Never thought this was going to be the play.
Right? The year of the blockade.